They told everyone to evacuate. Humans left, but no one checked who couldn't. And when the sky turned orange, the forest began to scream. This wasn't a normal wildfire. It moved like it was alive. Wind pushed it at nearly 40 miles per hour. Trees exploded before the flames even touched them. Smoke swallowed the sun. Ash fell like black snow. From the helicopter above, the forest looked like a burning ocean. Wave after wave of fire. Sector 12 fully evacuated, the radio confirmed. But then, something moved inside the smoke. At first it looked like shadows. Then they saw them. A herd of deer running blindly. Birds crashing mid-air from thick smoke. A fox circling in confusion, unable to find a way out. And deeper inside the inferno, a sound. A dog. Howling. Not barking. Not running. Howling. Command. We have live animals trapped inside the fire line. Silence on the radio. Fuel was limited. Wind unpredictable. Flames already crossed the river barrier. Orders were clear. No unnecessary risk. But the howling didn't stop. The helicopter made a dangerous turn. Heat rose violently, shaking the aircraft. Below, the forest floor was chaos. Trees cracking. Branches exploding. Small animals darting in every direction. The rescue team landed in a small clearing barely untouched by flames. The second their boots hit the ground, the heat felt unreal. Like opening an oven door, but the oven was the entire world. Smoke burned their lungs instantly. Move fast. They followed the sound. Past fallen trees. Past a burning nest. Past a deer too weak to stand. And then they saw him. The dog. Pinned under a half-burned tree trunk. Fur singed. One leg trapped. His eyes were wide. Terrified. But still fighting. The fire shifted. Wind changed direction. And suddenly, the flames began moving toward the clearing. Fast. Too fast. 3 minutes before this whole area lights up. One rescuer dropped to his knees, trying to lift the tree. It wouldn't move. Another joined. Their gloves started to smoke from the heat. Above them, the helicopter pilot shouted through the radio, "The fire just jumped the southern line. You are surrounded on 2 sides." Crack. A tree behind them collapsed into flames. The dog cried out. The rescuers pushed harder. The trunk shifted slightly, but not enough. Heat rising. Oxygen thinning. Visibility dropping. Then something unexpected happened. From the smoke, more animals emerged. 2 deer. A small raccoon. A fox with burned fur. They didn't run away. They ran toward the clearing. Toward the only safe space left. But it wasn't safe anymore. The fire was closing in. Circle tightening. The pilot's voice cracked through the radio. "You have 60 seconds before we pull out." 60 seconds. The rescuer looked at the trapped dog. Then at the growing flames. Then at the other animals now trapped in the same clearing. One choice. Save one. Or try to save them all. The wind roared louder. And behind them, the fire formed a wall. The fire didn't slow down. It closed in. From the north. From the west. And now, from behind them. The clearing that felt like safety was turning into a trap. 30 seconds. The pilot shouted through the radio. The rescuers were still pushing against the burning trunk. The trapped dog was fading. Breathing shallow. Eyes blinking slower. The flames were close enough now that the air itself felt like it was burning. One rescuer ripped off his backpack, wedged it under the tree for leverage, and pushed with everything he had left. The trunk shifted. Just enough. The second rescuer pulled the dog free. But they weren't safe. Not even close. The other animals were now pressed together, confused and terrified. 2 deer shaking violently. A fox limping. The raccoon barely moving from smoke inhalation. Above them, embers began falling like sparks from the sky. The helicopter descended lower. Too low. The heat pushed it upward again. "I can't hold position long," the pilot yelled. The wind suddenly changed direction again. And with it, the fire curved. Instead of moving past the clearing, it wrapped around it. Like a ring. They were surrounded. Smoke thickened instantly. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. The rescuers covered their faces. The free dog tried to stand, but collapsed again. "Carry him." One rescuer lifted the dog. The other tried guiding the deer toward the helicopter. But animals don't follow commands in chaos. A burning tree fell at the edge of the clearing. The flames were now less than 20 feet away. Branches exploded. The sound like gunshots. The helicopter attempted a landing. The landing skids barely touched the ground before the wind shoved it sideways. Too unstable. You have to move now. One deer bolted in panic, straight toward the flames. Without thinking, a rescuer ran after it. Through smoke. Through falling ash. He grabbed the deer's neck, forcing it back toward the clearing. Behind him, the fire surged higher. The rest of the team was loading the injured animals. Dog first. Then the raccoon. Then the fox. One deer made it inside. But the second deer panicked again. And then something worse happened. The radio went dead. Static. No pilot voice. No countdown. Only the roar of fire. The rescuers looked up. The helicopter was struggling in violent heat waves. Turbulence from rising hot air was throwing it off balance. If it crashed here, no one would survive. The rescuer holding the second deer made a decision. He pushed it toward the helicopter, then turned back. Because he heard something. A faint cry. Not from the clearing. From inside the burning trees. He froze. Listened again. Yes. A small, desperate sound. There was still another animal inside the fire. And the flames were only getting closer. Behind him, the helicopter began lifting off slightly, ready to abandon the ground team if necessary. He had seconds. Save himself. Or go back into the fire. The smoke swallowed him as he stepped toward the trees. And the flames surged higher. He stepped into the fire. Not because he was fearless, but because something inside those flames was still alive. Smoke swallowed him instantly. Behind him, the helicopter struggled to stay stable. Heat waves twisted the air. The pilot fought the controls. Where is he? We are losing lift. Inside the burning trees, visibility dropped to nothing. Ash covered the ground like black snow. Branches cracked above. Flames climbed from trunk to trunk, faster than anything natural should move. Then, he heard it again. A small cry. Weak. Desperate. Fading. He followed the sound, coughing, eyes burning. And there, under a fallen bush, curled into itself, a baby raccoon. Barely moving. Fur singed. Breathing shallow. The fire was closing in from both sides. He removed his gloves, wrapped the animal inside his jacket, and turned back. But the path he came from was gone. Flames had swallowed it. The clearing was no longer visible. Only orange. Only heat. Only noise. For a moment, he stood completely surrounded. No clear way out. The radio on his chest crackled faintly, then died. Back in the clearing, the team realized he hadn't returned. The dog inside the helicopter suddenly lifted its head and started barking. Not randomly. Focused. Toward one side of the smoke. The pilot saw movement through the haze. A shadow. Stumbling. Falling. Getting back up. The rescuer burst through the smoke wall, jacket burning at the edges. He ran. The flames chased him. A burning branch collapsed inches behind him. The helicopter dropped lower, dangerously low. Now or never. The team grabbed his arm, pulling him inside as the landing skids scraped the ground. The second deer barely made it in. The door slammed shut. But they weren't clear. Not yet. A fire tornado began forming behind them. A spinning column of flame rising into the sky. The heat hit the helicopter like a punch. Warning alarms screamed. The aircraft dipped violently. Inside, animals panicked. The injured dog tried to stand again. The pilot pulled up hard. For a second, everything felt weightless. Smoke completely blinded the windshield. Then, they broke through. Above the smoke layer. Into clearer air. Below them, the forest burned like a living ocean. Endless orange waves. Inside the helicopter, silence slowly replaced chaos. The rescuer looked down at his jacket. The baby raccoon moved. Weakly, but alive. The injured dog lifted its head and gently rested it against the rescuer's arm. As if it understood. Hours later, at the emergency wildlife station, oxygen masks covered small faces. Water cooled burnt fur. Veterinarians worked fast. The deer stood again. Shaky, but standing, the fox blinked slowly, alive, and the dog opened its eyes fully for the first time. Outside, the sky was still grey from smoke, but the fire had been pushed back, contained. For now. The news later called it a risky maneuver. They called it a miracle. But inside that helicopter, no one thought about heroism. They only thought about one thing: they almost left. And if they had, the forest would have gone silent. Sometimes survival isn't about strength. Sometimes it's about refusing to walk away, even when the fire says you should.